Venice. The floating city of dreams, beauty, and prestige. Every September, its red carpets glow under the flash of cameras, welcoming some of the most powerful names in global cinema. The Kineo Prize, one of Italy's most celebrated awards, has long been a moment of recognition for actors who have crossed borders and hearts. And this year, everyone expected one name to be called, one name to shine under those lights: Can Yaman. But what happened that night left the world in shock. Instead of applause, there was silence. Instead of celebration, there was confusion. The decision not to award Can Yaman the Kineo Prize didn't just surprise fans, it sparked controversy, debate, and a wave of emotions that rippled across Italy, Turkey, and beyond. Let's go back to where it all began. For months leading up to the Venice Film Festival, rumors had been circulating. Insiders whispered that Can Yaman was set to receive a major recognition at the Kineo Awards, a symbolic prize meant to honor his success in bridging cultures, languages, and audiences. After all, Can had become one of the most influential Turkish actors in Europe. His series were international hits. His brand collaborations were celebrated. And his humanitarian work, especially his Can Yaman for Children Foundation, had touched lives across continents. He had built not just a career, but a global legacy. So when word spread that the Kineo organization was preparing to honor him, fans began to count down the days. Social media was flooded with excitement. Italian television hinted at a special guest from Istanbul. Even fashion insiders revealed that Can's stylist had prepared a custom look for the red carpet, sleek, timeless, and undeniably Venetian. Everything seemed ready for a magical night. But then, something changed. Just days before the ceremony, subtle signs began to appear. The official Kineo lineup was published, and Can Yaman's name was missing. No explanation. No announcement. Nothing. Fans thought it was a mistake. Others hoped it meant he'd receive a surprise recognition on stage. But those close to the event knew something was off. The actor himself had remained silent, unusually silent. On the day of the ceremony, Venice was glowing with anticipation. Cameras flashed, stars arrived, and journalists filled the space with questions. But one name kept echoing through the whispers: where is Can Yaman? He had arrived in the city quietly the night before. No paparazzi photos, no press events. Some said he attended a private dinner near the Lido, others claimed he met with Italian producers in secret. But what no one expected was that he wouldn't appear at all during the ceremony. As the night went on, the Kineo committee presented award after award, honoring rising stars, directors, and international figures. When the moment came that fans believed would be Can's, the host moved on without mentioning him. For the audience, it was confusing. For his fans, it was heartbreaking. By midnight, Italian Twitter was on fire. Hashtags like #Justice for Can Yaman and #Kineo controversy began trending. Fans wanted answers. Why was he ignored? Why had a man who brought Turkish and Italian entertainment closer than ever been left out of an award that seemed almost designed for him? The next morning, media headlines were everywhere. Shock in Venice, Can Yaman's expected award doesn't happen. Behind the silence, was the Kineo committee divided? Fans in uproar over Can Yaman's snub. At first, no one spoke officially. But then, Italian entertainment reporters began to dig deeper. According to anonymous sources, a disagreement had taken place within the award committee just days before the ceremony. Some members reportedly supported honoring Can for his international impact. Others argued that the award should go to someone more closely tied to the Italian film industry. That phrase, closely tied, triggered an online storm. Because for millions of Italians, Can Yaman was already part of their cultural landscape. He had filmed in Rome, spoken fluent Italian in interviews, and captured hearts across the country. He wasn't just a foreign star, he had become one of their own. Then came the emotional twist. A well-known Italian journalist, writing for Il Giornale dello Spettacolo, revealed that Can himself had been informed of the committee's indecision days before the ceremony. According to the report, he chose not to attend, not out of pride, but out of disappointment. He had wanted to keep his dignity intact, to stay away from the spectacle of confusion. It was a quiet but powerful statement. Fans flooded social media with messages of support. Can doesn't need an award to prove his worth. He's already won the world's heart. The real prize is his integrity. Meanwhile, other celebrities began to subtly voice their opinions. An Italian actress who had worked with him in the past posted a cryptic Instagram story: "Sometimes the brightest stars make others uncomfortable." Another entertainment figure tweeted, "Politics and art always leave scars." The controversy grew beyond the red carpet. Talk shows debated the issue. Was Can Yaman treated unfairly? Was there jealousy involved? Or was it a strategic decision by organizers trying to avoid too much international attention overshadowing local names? Whatever the truth, the effect was undeniable. The Kineo committee found itself in the middle of a storm. Public opinion turned sharply. Comment sections overflowed with disappointment, especially from fans in Italy, Spain, and Turkey. The narrative had shifted completely. Instead of celebrating the winners, everyone was talking about the one name that was missing. And then, in classic Can Yaman fashion, he broke his silence, not through interviews or press conferences, but with a single, poetic post. On his Instagram story, he shared a quote that read, "True value doesn't wait for recognition. It simply shines." No hashtags, no explanations, just those words. The response was immediate. Within minutes, hundreds of thousands of likes and shares flooded in. His fans interpreted it as a message of strength, self-worth, and quiet defiance. He had turned what could have been a humiliating moment into a demonstration of character. Days later, an Italian journalist confirmed what many suspected, that several members of the Kineo board regretted the decision. One of them allegedly said off the record, "We underestimated how much the people love him." The public reaction taught us a lesson. By then, it was too late. The moment had already become part of entertainment history. The decision not to award Can Yaman had, ironically, made him even more celebrated. It had transformed him from a recipient into a symbol of authenticity, of grace under pressure, and of what it means to stay true to yourself when the world tests you. And while some insiders claimed there were logistical reasons or unresolved discussions, others quietly admitted that the real story might be deeper. There were whispers of professional jealousy, of people uncomfortable with the idea that a Turkish star had achieved such dominance in the Italian scene. But whether that's true or not remains speculation, the kind of mystery that keeps fans talking for months. In the end, the Venice chapter became something unexpected, not a story of rejection, but a story of resilience. Can didn't walk that red carpet, but he walked away with something more valuable: respect. The respect of millions who saw how he handled the moment with silence, elegance, and strength. Weeks later, as the controversy faded, Can returned to work on his next projects. When asked indirectly about the incident by a journalist, he smiled and said, "Recognition is nice, but peace is better." That one line silenced everyone. Because that's who he is. Calm, centered, and unshaken by fame's noise. And now, months later, fans still talk about it. The night Venice made a decision, and the world decided otherwise. Because while the Kineo Prize may have chosen not to honor him, millions of fans across continents did. They filled timelines, headlines, and hearts with one simple message: he deserved it. And perhaps that's the most beautiful irony of all, that the very night meant to celebrate cinema became a stage for something greater. A reminder that true stars don't need trophies. Their light shines all on its own. So when people ask, what really happened behind the scenes, maybe the answer isn't politics or controversy, maybe it's fate. Fate reminding everyone that the world doesn't decide your worth. You do. And Can Yaman? He didn't lose anything that night in Venice. If anything, he gained what no award could ever give: the world's unwavering admiration.